Hi, Carla. Hoping you're well. Come on in. I'm just setting up things behind the scenes. Ooh, let me turn this down. Ooh, okay, that stopped very abruptly. So hello to everyone in the live right now. Sorry, my throat is a bit hoarse at the moment, but I'm hoping everyone is well on this beautiful Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, but I don't even know what day we are in the week. But I wanted to talk about something today, and I wanted to go touch into some of the energies for 2020. And I guess this is kind of piggybacking of some of the things that I've been saying over the last few months. They were definitely in preparation for the energies that's going to be coming to us into 2020. These energies are already influencing us at the moment. And they're going to have a very dominant theme going into 2020 and obviously have an impact going forward. But this is a really, really important year. 2020. When we see 2020, what do we see? 2020 vision. And so there's a lot of clarity, a lot of revealing, a lot of resetting, a lot of re-establishing. I mean, it's very interesting that tomorrow, being the 12th of December, is going to be the elections over here in the UK. Um, whilst we've got all of these energies and all of this stellium in Capricorn at the moment, with Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto all being currently in Saturn. And I'm going to be talking a bit about those energies, not so much from a political perspective. Hey, Carlos. Hey, Amy. Hoping you're well. Yeah, so I will be talking a bit about these energies, mainly how they're going to be impact, or how they have impacted us, because I want to be going back to, I mean, the Pluto in Capricorn cycle that started back in 2008, and that will last until 2024. And so this has really set the tone of a lot of upheaval, especially internally as well. We've been forced to deal with all of the things that we've been avoiding for so long, and that was definitely a dominant theme for. So I've got some fluff coming from my scarf that I had earlier. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of these dominant themes that will be playing into effect going into 2020. And I'm just going to kind of skim the surface. I want to do another video where I'll be going a bit more in depth. But I did want to make sure I did another video this week, because I'm kind of cutting or making up for not being able to upload content for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I want to make sure I get some videos out on my channel, so I can make sure I still kind of hit my consistency goal. I don't want to slack. Okay. But yeah, going back to this Pluto and Capricorn cycle. This cycle started back in 2008. For me, I was 18 at this time, and it was a very distinctive year for me, because I definitely felt that shift, and this all came on my third house. And so this Pluto, it can stay in a sign for anything between 40 and 30 years. So this is a very long transiting planet, and so this is a planet that will have an impact on a generation. So you'll normally find people that are grouped by their Plutos with these certain generational signs. So Pluto is Scorpio. You'd be 1985 or 6 to 95, and then so on and so. After that would be Pluto in Sagittarius. So there's a lot of time between a lot of these transits that happen with Pluto. So it can have a very powerful and impactful effect. But the thing is, with especially with a lot of the transpersonal planets, and when I mean transpersonal planets, or I mean trans-Saturnian, or those that are post-Saturn, so Jupiter, not so much Jupiter, sorry, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, those planets are furthest away from us, and so they're going to have more of a spiritual impact, what we class as a spiritual or transpersonal or metaphysical impact on us. It will still have very practical impacts, but we'll feel a lot of these effects more so on a subtle level, spiritually. But this was a time for transformation. And so if you are Pluto and Scorpio just like me, this is definitely our time to shine. This is why we came here. Like, this is, imagine, like 2020, like we saw somehow in the astrals that there was going to be some kind of party going on. If you think of it like Avengers, if anyone's seen the last Avengers, where everyone just comes out of nowhere and everyone just ends up in the exact same place at the right time, that's us. We're literally like, my soul tribe is like the Avengers team. Like we're all remembering why we came here. We all came here with a purpose. We all came here with some kind of plan. And now is for us to begin to actualize these things. We should have been taking the time over where Jupiter was in Sagittarius over this past year to be really discovering what our purpose is and what direction we really want to go in our lives. That was the purpose of this last year, and especially when Jupiter went retrograde. There's a lot of us that had a little skirting moments where it's like, okay, I definitely had a plan, and how what the direction that I'm going now is not what I thought, but it's definitely much better than I would have been able to plan prior to this. So there's a lot of this, even though um even though a lot of these energies are quite karmic and quite quote unquote dark. I don't like to use those terms, but um just for the purpose of you being able to kind of understand what I'm talking about. I mean, it's not very easy energies, especially with all of these planets being in Pluto, being in Capricorn. And so Pluto in Capricorn, if anyone knows tarot, um, the perfect depiction of that type of energy would be the tower. And this is signifying destruction, but it's also signifying the rebuilding of an established order. So things, whenever there's a tower that comes up, don't get scared. There's going to be change, there's going to be transition, it's not going to be easy, it's going to be very, it's going to be very transformative, especially in the beginning part. So if you think about it, when if that destruction is to a marriage, for example, um initially it won't feel good because you've had this connection with this person, you know you've established this connection over a long time, and then out of the blue a tower comes up and everything just falls apart. But sometimes these things need to fall apart because sometimes we've held illusions up for so long, and sometimes it takes the universe to literally give us that lightning strike and just be like, you better get back into alignment because I don't know what you thought you was doing, and you knew that this wasn't for your highest good, but you tricked yourself into believing this was okay. And this is what Neptune retrograde this year was also showing us as well. It was really being able to cut out a lot of the illusions that we've set for ourselves and really bring us into reality, like all of this Capricorn energy is doing. So, this whole energy right now is literally a reset. We are resetting our whole reality, everything. And I remember I said from my Uranus retrograde video a couple months ago, I told you guys, reality has changed. Have you got the memo yet? Because everything that we thought we knew is no longer going to be the same anymore. We can see these themes starting to pop up through the news and through politics and through all of these types of things, even our perceptions of how we view each other, the uprising of the LGBTQ community, and the a lot of these ideas and ideologies would not been accepted a few years ago, but it's now bringing this new reality, that we've never known before. And so change isn't always, when change comes, it's always going to feel uncomfortable because it's unknown to us, and we're sometimes we're stuck in this mode of having to know how everything's going to play out. But if you have to be in a position where you have to be calculated about everything, then what happens to your ability to experience? I've spoken to a few people, especially recently, where things have happened and they're like, why did I not see this happening? Why did I not see this coming? But the fact of the matter is that if you saw it coming, you would have avoided it, but you may have missed an experience or a valuable lesson that you needed to learn. And sometimes, yeah, there's some lessons that we don't need to learn. Sometimes we just force ourselves up in places that we don't need to be, and the universe just has to just drag us by our skirt tail and just bring us back and be like, yeah, I don't know where you thought you was going. But sometimes we do need to allow ourselves to experience. And so this is something I've really been valuing recently, is learning to value the process. And this is what Pluto and Capricorn is talking about, because it's bringing a very intense transformation. But with Capricorn Pluto is very intense, it's very forceful, but Capricorn brings that element of delay. It brings that structure. So even as much as we want to break out this loop, and we don't want to be experiencing these emotions, these dark feelings, these all of this different type of stuff, it has to come up, because a lot of the times we are trying to you can't escape a lot of these dark feelings and emotions. Why? Because if you escape it, how do you know, how do you really know what's actually going on with you? Like, if you say, for example, there's an emotion that comes up, you feel an emotion of anger, right? You don't know where this anger is coming from, but you're just like, okay, I just need to get this anger away from me. Okay, you've eradicated the anger, but you haven't eradicated the trigger that created the anger, because you don't know what that is. And so we have to really learn to sit in these things and really learn how to master our emotional intelligence, because through this we get to understand what is the foundation, what is the roots of these triggers that is creating these emotions that I may not want to feel, but these emotions are a language, it's a message to us that we need to begin to pay attention to. You know, this is energy, right? We can pay attention, energy can speak, but it speaks through our emotions, and we need to take time to listen to them and pay attention to them and give them a voice. Like, why do you feel this? Like, whenever I'm going through a process of trying to understand or unpack my emotions, I always ask myself questions. Okay, what is the feeling that I'm feeling? Okay, this is sadness. Okay, why do I feel sad? Okay, I feel sad because I thought that this was going to happen, and this is what happened, and so because of that, this is what has created me, or led me to start feeling like this. Okay, well, where did has this is there, or has there been a pattern of this that has occurred elsewhere? Okay, I experienced this, and this is what was happening. Okay, what was the theme in that situation? What was the connections happening between these situations? Okay, let's go a bit further backwards. When was the last time that happened? Did it happen before that? And when was the first time this happened? What was the scenario surrounding around that? And how did you feel? Like, this is learning how to really go deeper and deeper and deeper into yourself, to really begin to be true with yourself. If you can't be true and authentic with the emotions that you feel, you're not going to be able to be authentic elsewhere. You know, and so we really need to begin to master ourselves. Now, this is what all of this Capricorn energy is bringing up. Capricorn is the builder, it's the masterer, it's the achiever, and it's very much rooted in the material realm, or the material world, the practical world, but it's understanding that life on earth requires a practical approach, and part of this means earning a living. And if you remember some of my videos that I've been talking about, especially when I was talking about the spiritual community needing an enema, which I still stand by, and I was talking about the perception towards money and financial stability, and these not really being a topic that is often really explored within spiritual communities. It's a lot of, you know, I feel like a lot of what we've classed spirituality is not spirituality, and a lot of it is anxiety consciousness. If you watch back my video that I did with Rosette on it's titled on my video on my channel under anxiety consciousness, and then the spiritual community needs an enema video, then you'll kind of get a bit of grounding as to what I'm really talking about right now. And now is a time, like, if you're still up in the clouds with this airy fairy escapism spirituality, I can tell you from now, you're going to struggle post 2020. In fact, post tomorrow. And I tell you what's very strategic about tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 12th of December 2019. And if anyone knows about the Ethiopian calendar, the Ethiopian calendar is 8 years behind the Gregorian calendar, which means that they only just turned 2012, whilst we're just turning into 2020. And when we're talking about the Mayans and their time and their the Mayan calendar, I mean, they were talking about 2012. Really, it was pointing to this time right now. And it's funny that the full moon in Gemini, which is the last full moon of this year and of this decade, is gonna be happening at 12:12 on the 12th of December. Okay, now that in itself, number 12, if anyone knows about numerology, that is also symbolic of government and also the structures. And so this is literally like 12 to, I see this as like 999. The 12 is a 3, so 3, 6, 9, 999. This is the code of what this 2020 is all about. It's literally saying, pay attention. This is the time of transition. The 9 is the transition. The 9 is the birthing. The 9 is the transformation. What happens when you at 9 months? You give birth. You give birth to what you've been creating and gestating for those previous 9 months, right? And these last few months has been so intense. It's been a lot of karmic energy, a lot of, you know, a lot of really looking at some harsh truths about yourself, really having to accept that, really having to accept some harsh truths about your reality. Maybe you had to accept some harsh truths in your family. Maybe you found out that some stuff wasn't true and you've been lied to your whole life, and it's just like come out of the blue, like, whoa, that's not my dad, that's not my mom, that's not my sister. Wow, my whole life has been a lie. Wow. You know, and it's been a lot of shocking truths that's been coming up, both in our personal lives and both around us, and both you can see what's happening in the world. Like, it's just been like whoa, 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 whoa every minute. You can't even keep up with the amount of drama that's going on in the moment at the moment. All of that is reflective of the collective unconscious right now. And so the Virgo conjunction that we experienced a few months ago, this was the perfect preparation moving us into 2020. The Virgo conjunction was just really, again, causing us to be really practical about our self-improvement, our self growth, our expansion, but also really being grounded about everything in our lives, like really coming back to our personal responsibilities, really coming back to learning how to have physical connections. Like, we've been in a box for so long that we've lost personal touch. And you know, not everyone's on a phone now. Everyone's got their head in a phone, in this rectangular object that's in their hand, and we've lost a lot of the practical things. And not to say that, you know, we're going to go back to 10 years ago where, you know, reality was completely different. We have to accept that this is the new reality, but we also need to learn how to remain grounded in this reality that we're now moving into. Okay, so what else was I going to say? So there's a lot of drive for success, and the Capricorn energy is all about climbing the highest mountains. Like the goat is the symbol of Capricorn, and it's all about that achievement. It's all about striving to get to the top, striving to you know, for your recognition. Like you being recognized in the world for what you're able to offer. You know, you being able to achieve your goals, you being able to maintain a powerful focus. Like, this is your highest state of mastery we're coming into. And if you're like me, going through your Saturn return, it's not an easy Saturn time we're going through right now. This is some very hard karmic energies. This is why I say that Pluto and Scorpio, we came here for this time. Look in your chart to see where your Pluto is in your chart. Pluto is symbolic of the psyche, and it's also a representation of the soul. So our souls came here to transform at this time, at this place. Like, we knew that all of this energy that's happening right now was the perfect catalyst for us to move and transition into where we need to be. I was literally saying to someone today, I was like, I've been through a very, very hard life, very hard life. You know, Pluto rising, Scorpio rising, Pluto on my rising, conjunct my moon. I've had a very harsh upbringing. And even despite all of that upbringing, I'm still great. I can understand why I chose to incarnate into such a harsh environment, into such a harsh family, into such a harsh all of this type of stuff. Because I knew that if I didn't have all of these harsh energies impacting me or inflicting me, I would have remained so comfortable. I would not have moved anywhere. I would not be motivated to grow. I would not be motivated to do any of what I'm doing right now. The only reason why I'm motivated is because I know what pain feels like, and I don't want to be feeling that no more. So I'm trying to force myself into a place where I can transform my whole reality by hook or by crook. I don't care. It has to change because I know what rock bottom feels like, you know? And so it's about learning to see our experiences from a different perspective. Everything that we've gone through right now has led us to this moment right now where we're about to transition into a completely different realm. 2020 is a quantum leap as well. This is a leap year. So whenever, if you think of 2020, think of back to 1999. Another one would have been 1990, but I was born in 1990, so I can't remember that. But what I can remember is 1999 into 2000. That was a massive transition. The whole millennium bug scare, you know, the whole, you know, music changed, everything changed post 2000. And that was a quantum leap of development for humanity. You know, so many things happen. Look at what's happened in the last 10 years. The development of the internet, social media, so many things has come in that was not like how it is right now 10 years ago. So there's a lot of transition that's happening. We need to begin to align with these energies. This is all this is doing. It's just is pushing us to stand in a place where we're in alignment with our truth. We're in alignment with what we came here to do. We're reminded of what we came here to do, because you know everything that you feel deeply inside of yourself. A lot of people ask me, "What's my purpose? How do I know my purpose?" It's deeply embedded in you. You already feel it. What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? What are you so passionate about? That is your purpose. You was embedded. You was born with these innate abilities inside of you. It's for you to begin to recognize these things, put them on a platform, and begin to recognize, this is my gift. This is what I came here to do. This is my arsenal. This is my toolkit. This is what I came here for. Even the Bible talks about the parable of the talents, and I can't remember the exact amount of talents that was given to each person, but each person had different amounts of talents. One person had 5, one person had 4, 2, whatever. But the person with 5 talents would look like, you know, oh, this person's amazing. Like, they've got an amazing purpose. You know, they can achieve so much. And person 2, they'll be like, oh, this isn't anything, so I'll just bury this. I'll just keep this underneath. I need some more talents. But you've already got talents, but you're not actually utilizing them, you know? And so it's not to become because not everyone's purpose is going to look the same. And in fact, let me say this, because there's a lot of drive right now in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of everyone wants to launch off and set up their business. They want to do all these types of things. They want to live that life. That is the trend of the culture right now. And sometimes it can be very disheartening because not everyone has those big type of purposes. My platform is created for everyone, but because I know I have a strong sense of purpose, I'm going to be speaking directly to those that do have a strong sense of purpose. But I do want to remind those that you know, your purpose doesn't have to look like the entrepreneur or the business person or whatever. You can be the best number two. You could be the best assistant to the entrepreneur, employed by the entrepreneur, and just being the best assistant that you can be. You could be the best cleaner. You could be the best childminder. You can be the best cook. You can be the best makeup artist. Don't limit what that success looks like for you. Because a lot of the time society is what, you know, influences us on how to seek success or who is actually successful. And it's to, you can celebrate your successes every single day. You know, what have you done today? Celebrate yourself. What productivity have you achieved today? Celebrate yourself and put yourself in a routine of learning how to celebrate yourself and celebrate the little successes, because the little successes turn into the big successes, and you start to create this massive momentum that will just propel you going forward to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, you know, on whatever level that is. But I did want to make sure I say that, because you know, not everyone has the big purpose. And I remember, it's so funny even saying this and talking about this now, how I'm talking about this, because I remember when I first went to church, or to the church that I started going to, and I would see everyone with these big massive purposes. Everyone was a prophet. Everyone had some healing ministry. Everyone had something that was just so big and so beyond me. And I used to look at that and just be like, wow, like I would love to have that. I would love to experience that. I realized that a lot of my wishful thinking with regards to that was really my ego. I just wanted the celebration. I just wanted the appreciation, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting appreciation or recognition for what you do, but you know, it just wasn't for me at the time. And I found myself just digging deeper into this hole, because I was like, I want to find my purpose. I want to find my purpose. I want to find my purpose. Went years, still didn't find my purpose. And I realized that I was just looking at things all backwards, like, and my perception of purpose was something that was external from myself, valid, like based on what I saw everyone else's purpose as. Like, my purpose is not going to be like everyone else's. And the moment I had to start to see that in myself is the moment I started to anchor myself in my own truth of what I came here to do. And as time goes on, things are still unraveling. You know, I feel like your purpose changes all the time. You know, my purpose for the last 2 years was to be a mother, to my child, and to be the best mother that I could be to my child. My purpose right now is still to be a mother, but also to establish myself as a businesswoman and as an entrepreneur and as everything else I'm trying to achieve. I don't want to say too much, but that's my goal, and that is my purpose. After that, you know, once I hit a certain age, I'd be like, okay, my purpose is to retire right now. My purpose is to rest. My purpose is just to take it easy and just to reap the benefits of everything I've been working so hard for. You know, your purpose changes all the time. Your purpose is not stagnant. So I definitely wanted to point that out as well. So here's some key dates for you. So Jupiter already entered Capricorn at this month, but May. Okay, so January January is when January the 20th, I believe it is when Saturn will be conjuncting Pluto. Exactly. And that is going to be a very intense time, and this will definitely set the tone for the rest of the year. But from the 20th of May, sorry, from May 2020, I haven't got the exact date. I should have actually put the exact date in. This is when the North Node will be coming out of Cancer, and so with this whole Cancer energy, you may have had a lot of problems with your family, with your household, having deeper questions about your sense of identity, having questions about your roots, where you've come from, where you belong, connecting back to Mother Earth, connecting back to the feminine principle, raising the feminine principle. There's been like a crazy feminine uprising right now. Looking at your heritage. And then Jupiter in Capricorn is saying that answers are coming from now on. Like there's answers that are coming. There's a lot of the things that have been brewing over Jupiter in Sagittarius is going to start to begin to ground itself in Jupiter in Capricorn. And let me say this as well, because I had a conversation today that was very interesting, and I think this links to what I was talking about earlier in regards to how we approach spirituality going forward. And I noticed like there's, when we actually stop yourself and like those that are really like spiritual and always want to be in that spiritual realm or talking up there, sometimes we sound really wild. And it's not to discredit what it is that you're talking about, because it's not that there's anything wrong with that. But the problem is we haven't learned to ground our perspectives in what we're talking about. Do you really even know what you're talking about? That's another thing, because we can believe, and this is why I say that I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything. I don't have faith in anything. I just know what I know. And you have to get to a place where you know what you know, because when you know what you know, you can talk about it effortlessly and people can understand exactly what you're talking about, because you're able to ground it in a way that can relate to the everyday person. It's about bringing these things, bringing spirituality into a way that doesn't take away from the physical matters. You've been able to still, it's about making your how can spirituality now make sense? Like how can it now, what can you use with your spirituality? Because Capricorn is all about using. What can you use with your spirituality? If you can't use what you're studying in this whole spiritual thing, like if you can't use it practically, then you may need to think again about what it is that you're into, because it's not actually helping you. It's not helping you to be productive. It's not helping you to grow, although it's helping you to escape. And I mean, if escaping is what you want to do, then by all means, but I'm not really here to get caught up in no loops, which is why Pisces gets trapped all the time, because it doesn't learn its lesson and it keeps going around in circles like these fishes. I want to break out of these loops. I don't want to get trapped in these loops anymore. So, Lord and mercy. So Jupiter in Capricorn is all about growth and expansion, and it always it only happens after gaining the necessary experience. Like you can't, Jupiter in Capricorn, listen, let me tell you something. Jupiter in Capricorn, there's no place for charlatans. There's no place for frauds. There's no place for any of those types of things. It's literally, you got to be the real deal, you know. Like Saturn and Jupiter is like the two judges, and then Pluto is just not playing no games. It's just here to strike everyone. Okay, like so it's like, yo, be careful. Like there's certain people that's got too far, and this is what's actually happening with this YouTube thing right now. It's not actually so much a bad thing, even though there's a lot of transitions that's happening with social media, and I've been meaning to do a video about this, so that those that are content creators or looking to start creating content, especially on YouTube, you're aware of some of these changes that are happening right now. But they're doing a lot of these changes and getting rid of a lot of these platforms because people have been able to just get in and get rich over no content. Like you're not gifted, you're just going online doing stupidness, you know, and getting paid how much money for what? Like you're getting paid for no talent. You're just getting paid to just have a great personality. Jupiter in Sagittarius. You know, you can have a great personality or great charisma. Even Leo, you can have a great charisma and it looks good, but do you have the experience or the knowledge or, you know, the not even the qualification. I don't mean qualification in terms of, you know, Western sense of those types of things, but experience qualifies you. And I will never forget that, because I remember my mentor, I don't know if she'll watch this video, but there's something that she said to me that really, really transformed me, and I needed to hear that, especially going through that whole Pluto retrograde cycle this year. And she was like, go, know that you're qualified. Like life has qualified you. Like what the hell? Like life has qualified you. And if you're like me, you know, like listen, life has qualified you for some stuff. Like, you know, you don't have to, like, because the experience and there's things that experience teaches you wisdom that someone going and studying something for years would not know, you know. And it's like, you know, especially like even how I was able to grasp the concept of astrology. I was able to grasp it because there was a journey that I was going on simultaneously that was able to allow me to see so deep into so many different things and use these archetypes as a tool to be able to do that. But it's a thing where I've lost my whole train of thought now. Lord have mercy. But back to the content creators thing. People have just been able to get on these platforms just for nothing and not been and there's been no qualification to for them to even be getting paid and being rewarded for what they're actually doing. And it's not to be, don't hate the player, hate the game, you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, you know, where now things are moving into a place where YouTube is saying that you have to be commercially viable, which means that you have to actually have content that people want to hear, you know, that I've got, not even that people want to hear, that people are going to pay for, that Google can place their ads on, that businesses can place their ads on. So if your content is not commercially viable, right, you're going to be wiped out. So this is the theme of what's happening in general right now. Making sure that you're in alignment, and don't get scared now. If this is something that you're getting scared of, like, oh my gosh, like what's going to happen? This whole last 2016, 2015, if you weren't doing your work back from then, like you're gonna struggle. If it's only now that you're waking up and like, okay, I need to do some work, then you probably are gonna struggle. It's not to say that, you know, everything's gonna be over, but you know, things are gonna be a bit more difficult because these are very harsh energies. So definitely pay attention to that. What else did I want to say? Let me cut out some of this because that's just all long. So Okay. Jupiter. So what we know for sure is that whatever is present in the area of your life that Jupiter will be impacting. So if you look at your chart, and see where Capricorn is in your chart, that's the house that Jupiter will be transiting, and that's the house, the area of life that Jupiter will be affecting. I need to do another video. I know I did do a workshop in another group on the houses, but I actually need to do a video on my channel on the houses, just so that you can understand these houses a bit more. But I'm going to do another workshop going more in depth into the houses, because there's so many levels to them. But that's the house that will be affected, and that's the house that will get amplified. So if it's a lack of structure, Jupiter will make that abundantly clear that you need structure, and you know, you need to get these things together. If you haven't learned how to budget your money yet, Jupiter's gonna let you know. And the thing is, this is the crazy thing, because this is literally like Saturn and Jupiter is literally like the war of the war of the Titans, where when the overthrow of Saturn was in progress. So this is through this, there's a lot of it's almost like a paradox of controlled expansion but constriction at the same time. Like it's expansion, constriction, because this is why this year is gonna be a bit like it's not good, it's not bad, like everything for the greater good. In the end, it's gonna be great, you know, because you realize, oh my gosh, it was all working towards. And Capricorn is just gonna add more delay or more structure or more making sure that you're playing by the rules or by the game to get to that success. And this is, if you're like, especially bringing back the whole YouTube thing as just as an example, if the changes that YouTube bring in, and not even just YouTube, it's going to be all social platforms. I'll tell you that from now. It's just YouTube is the easiest one to grab because of money. But you know, it's going to have people start, and which already people have been making up noise and all this kind of stuff. But if you haven't been playing by the rules of the game, like rules are there, you know, they are there. You can't you can't break a rule and be like, oh, why are you mad? You know, you knew what you was doing. You was trying to find these loopholes to do whatever you was doing. You got caught. Like it just is what it is. But going into like Jupiter in Capricorn, it's like, no, now you have to be responsible for these things. Now you have to be accountable for these things. So it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting, especially playing out with regards to politics. Like that's what's gonna be wild. I was gonna look into the chart for the whole Brexit thing. I just can't even be asked right now because it's just too much. But just knowing astrology, it's just gonna be wild. So if there's a lack of self-confidence, Jupiter might be able to give you a bit of a pep talk. Okay, but this planet's main aim is to bring awareness to what needs to be developed by you. Okay, you need to develop yourself. You need to improve yourself. You need to master yourself. So what this is saying is that master yourself, whatever the house that Saturn and Jupiter is going to be falling in, which is going to be the same sign because they're both in Capricorn. It's develop this area that needs work, and you will be rewarded for that, because Jupiter is that rewarder. Jupiter will offer you that expansion. It will offer you it will offer you the ability to go where you need to go. It's that movement. Okay, so Jupiter will also add to whatever's present. So it's a perfect time to be intentional about all you wish to grow, but more importantly, the structures that is needed in order for you to grow. Wait, I just said that. So there's something that I wanted to say as well, actually. There's something I wanted to say in specific. Um, intentional growth, that's it. I haven't got the book in front of me right now. So there's a book, and I really encourage you guys to get this book, and it's called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. I'm going to be doing an actual workshop on personal growth, and using a lot of these concepts in with my my workshops, just to give a structure to help you to be able to go on that journey of growth. And the thing is with growth, in this book, it says oftentimes growth is something that is assumed, and we assume that we grow because from the day that we were born, we've been growing. But growth stops at a certain time, you know, but we still hold on to the assumption that we're growing. And it's not to say that the element of you will not grow, but the key is intention. Being intentional about your growth. Now, I could ask the question, do you have a plan? Like, do you have a plan for you to grow? Or are you just expecting that every year you're just going to grow? And every year you probably will grow. You're bound to have different perspectives of things and whatever. That's just natural. But talking about tapping into the fullness of the potential of growth is a different story. This is where intention has to be applied to whatever it is that you're doing to make sure that you grow. So what plan do you have to grow? What is it that you've put in place for 2020 to ensure that you're going to grow in the areas that you need to grow in? What are you going to put in place to make sure that you're going to make sure you have the right financial advice to make sure that you can manage your money correctly and make sure that you can invest certain money in certain areas, or make sure that you can expand on specific multiple streams or whatever? How is it that, and that's just the external part, because now we're talking about the internal stuff. Now, what is it that you want to grow inside? Okay, so maybe you may struggle with an element of insecurity, and you don't have enough confidence, and you want to be able to grow in that area. Okay, so what plan do you have in place to ensure that you can become more confident in 2020 and make sure that you don't self-sabotage yourself in anything that you want to do because you're not confident in taking certain opportunities, and so you'd rather shut them down and sabotage them because you don't feel confident? What is your plan? What is your plan for growth? You know, a lot of things would have come up this year, and these are the things that we need to pay attention to and make sure that next year it's not an issue. Okay, eradicate the issue, and you know, let's move up. What else did I want to say? Okay, so the fears that have been crystallized through the Plutonian cycle. So this last cycle that we can go through, a lot of the fears that have been manifested throughout this time, anything that's been an obstruction, we can't run away from. And up until this point, we've been running away. It's almost like we've faced certain things. We know, it's almost like you see, okay, I see that. I've been seeing that since 2015. I've been seeing that since 2013, but I had to turn a blind eye because I wanted to make sure I do this and make sure I cut corner and get here. Now you can't cut those corners anymore. So anything that we've evaded, anything that you've run away from, you can't run away. It's gonna face you slap bang in your face. And the reason why this is all happening, and especially because of this Plutonian cycle, when Pluto moves into Aquarius in 2024, we're going to be much more freer to express our individuality and our identity more freely, because we would have done the work from this cycle. This cycle would have been clearing us up to make sure that when we hit 2024, It's all guns blazing. We're good. Like you're able to just express yourself more authentically and more unapologetically. So let me skip all of that. Skip all of that. Skip all of that. When I tell you guys, I make so much notes that I literally have to be cutting down so much. Let me take time to actually talk to you guys about what I'm doing on Sunday. So I'm gonna be, I have a workshop on Sunday where I'm gonna be going deeper into the moon signs. And you can catch the video that I did yesterday about the moon signs as well. I kind of did like a little introduction to what I'm going to be doing on Sunday. And I'm going to be going into the prison of the soul and looking into a lot of our subconscious programming, our inherited programmings, our generational programming, looking into soul memory, looking into our limitations, our habits, all of this types of stuff, and learning how we can see, understand these things, and then because essentially the moon sign is the program that you need to break out of. This is also connected to our emotions. This is connected to our influences, our comforts, what makes us happy, all of this type of stuff. Your relationship with your mother. There's so many different levels, but I'm going to be expanding on the moon sign and the meanings and the interpretations of the moon signs as well. So make sure you register for that workshop on my website, www.soul-reconnection.com, to make sure that you're in that workshop. It's limited spaces as well, so make sure that you're one of those people that can get in, because I can't even lift that number. I can't do anything about it, but it's going to be awesome. It was definitely a highly requested workshop for me to do, so I'm really excited to be able to share a lot of this information with you. A lot of this stuff, or some of this stuff, I can't really share on my channel simply because of these transitions and changes that is happening, and I don't want to make sure that I mess up the algorithms or make the algorithms angry on my channel. So I'm gonna have to take a lot of this content off my channel and put them on private platforms as well. So going back to what is it that I wanted to say? How long have I been on this live so far? I'm not seeing any comments as well. Let me know who's in the live. How are you finding this live as well? And if you have any questions, you can put them down below so that I can catch them before I do come off this live as well. Why is this not moving? All right, so let me get into this. So this is who is gonna mainly affect this whole energy into 2020. And when you look at your chart, you can be able to match this up and see what's going on. So if you have any planets or points in Capricorn, you're most likely already been through the Saturn and Pluto, or will do shortly, transit, and you'll benefit more so from this Jupiter transit. So you've already been through this type of karmic energy already. Like I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart. I have mainly an Capricorn energetic signature. So this energy is almost like it's a flip of karma for me. It's not a negative flip for me. Like everything is starting to flip, and it's so crazy because the moment Jupiter went into Capricorn, it was like it's not even like I was walking into opportunities. Opportunities were just slamming into me left, right, and center. I didn't even, and it's so crazy because the day before, I remember speaking to my partner. I was like, something needs to change right now. It needs to change right now. And then literally the day after, like I had the most randomest connect ever that hooked me up with some stuff, and then it's opening up other opportunities for other stuff, and I'm just like, whoa, okay, 2020, come through, I'm ready. So if you like myself have got a lot of Capricorn a lot of planets or aspects to Capricorn or Saturn, you're gonna benefit from this. Like, it's gonna be a good thing for you, because it's just helping you become more grounded. And I've noticed that myself, because even though I've got a lot of earth in my chart, I am a down to earth person, but I haven't been the most grounded. But I've noticed, especially this year, I've been working towards, it's like I'm coming into myself, especially being in my Saturn return, Saturn in Capricorn as well. And I have a stellium on my 3rd house. So it's literally, I'm coming into myself as these energies are coming on. It's like I'm finally grounding. I was floating for so long, and now I can, it's literally the whole of this year I spent like doing like these ceremonies with myself, where I'd literally be imagine myself pulling my astral body into my astral body into myself, so I can be like, no, I claim every part of myself. I need to be in my body. I need to be here. I need to be grounded. So I've had to be dealing with that work too, but I feel like, yeah, it's definitely coming up now, or things are turning around. But you have to remember that, things are it's still gonna be a lot of hard work, but everything is gonna, you're gonna be rewarded for all the hard work that you have been doing. Like Jupiter will hook you up real good. If you have any planets or aspects in Taurus or Virgo, you will gain the most ease from this transit. Damn it. Hell, you Taurus and Virgo people. In fact, you know what? Like, just look at where you've got Taurus and where you've got Virgo. Where I've got Taurus and Virgo is very powerful for me. So I'm happy about that. I can't even lie. So the reason why it's going to be good is because Jupiter is going to trine these signs. It's going to create a harmonious aspect to these signs, and it's going to create more solid avenues for you to grow through. So it's going to be powerful, because Taurus and Virgo, like, you need something practical able for you to grow. Like, sometimes the whole spiritual thing doesn't really sit with you as well. Like, you need something that's practical, that's going to ground you, that's going to keep you here, that's going to allow you to grow. So this is going to be a really good time for you, and it's probably I'd say focus on the opportunities that find their way to you, rather than or what am I saying? Find the opportunities that seem to have the greatest possibility of the long-term growth, as opposed to the short-term growth. Because sometimes you can literally pick something and be like, oh, okay, money, okay, yeah, I'll take that. No, like, don't think of it as temporary. Whatever opportunity you take, make sure it's something that's going to create a sense of endurance for you. So if you've got any planets in Scorpio or Pisces, you will be encouraged to blossom with ease and assistance. So Jupiter will sextile these planets. So a sextile will bring more opportunities, and it will begin to stir a lot of excitement and a little bit of optimism for you. Just so that you can begin to enjoy yourself a bit more, because Scorpio, Pisces, yeah, you guys are karmic signs, and you know, there's been a lot that you've been going through this last few years, so you need a bit of a break. And even though it's not, and it's annoying, because the Jupiter and Sagittarius that we had right now, we couldn't really benefit as much from this whole Jupiterian energy, because we had Saturn literally like taking up the whole show and Capricorn taking up the whole show, which added a bit of a block to that energy in itself. But now you're going to begin to come into a bit more opportunities, and things are going to begin to start to grow and blossom a bit more easily or easier for you. So if you've got any planets or points in Aries, Cancer, or Libra, You will or already have been or will continue to be tested in extreme ways because you have a very hard aspect to Saturn and Pluto. So Jupiter will soften some of these lessons in some cases, and this is depending on your aspects as well. But or it will make them a bit more obvious in other people. But there has to be a major emphasis on developing boundaries, developing structures, and developing discipline. Okay, if you have built it, then then it will come later on due to Jupiter. But you have to make sure that you have your boundaries, your structures, and your ability to discipline yourself in this time. If you don't have that, if you don't put that ground in, this transit is going to be extremely difficult. And this is a year, like Jupiter's in Capricorn. It's going to be a difficult year for you. So I would say definitely act on what you need to act on. Just know that everything is going to be for the greater good anyway, even if you, now hard aspects are not bad aspects. I want to say that as well. And these are squares and oppositions. So an opposition is just, something that you have to work through and learn how to integrate these two energies. Whereas a square, this is a dynamic tension that is teaching you a lesson. It's hard, but it's for you to begin to overcome that. You overcome that trial through the combination of these energies. So you're going to be growing a lot because of that tension. It's just not going to be easy for you to kind of like deal with all of that energy. But like I said, everything for the greater good. There is no bad, okay? There is no good either, but everything just is. And we just have to begin to see things like that. So I'm hoping that this live was really informative for you. Please remember to like this video. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. My analytics already show me that there's more people that watch my content that are not subscribed than those that are, which is weird. But okay, cool. But I would just ask for you guys, if you do resonate with my content, please support my channel. I'm trying to get to my road to 1,000 before the end of the year, so definitely help me to be able to do that, and that will help me to be able to do a lot more stuff with my channel, but also with my business, as I'll be able to monetize my stream shortly once I've passed certain checks. So please, if you can do that, I would really appreciate that. But I'm gonna go and chill out for the rest of the night. I've had a very long day. And again, remember that we have the workshop on Sunday, the 15th of December. You can register for the Prison of the Soul workshop on my website, www.soul-reconnection.com. And yeah, it's gonna be a blast. So I will look forward to see you guys, if I see you guys on that day, or if not, you guys will see more uploads from me maybe this week, maybe next week, we'll see. But you'll see more of me. So until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.